Hello and welcome to another video tutorial here on understanding body language, liars, cheats and happy feet. Hope we're okay and having a good Saturday so far. So the video I've got for you this afternoon is Lindsay Lohan. Now then, she did an interview with Hollywood TV. I've got to say a big thanks to Hollywood TV for putting this video on, and I hope they don't mind me analysing it. She did an interview with Hollywood TV in May of last year, where she sits down with a producer for around about 5-6 minutes and answers some very difficult and personal questions. So we're going to run through the interview and see if we can spot any body language or verbal analysis. So let's start the video at the very beginning and let's see what we can pick up, if anything. So here we go.
There were pictures online and it looked like there was cocaine in that picture. Was that cocaine in those photographs?
I literally was walking back to my room with a few of my friends after doing press for my movie, which I was in Cannes for in the first place, called Inferno. I was with some of the producers that I work with. They went back into my room, and the director as well. I stopped in someone's room because someone came out of the room and said, "Could you just take a picture with me really quickly?" So I went into the room, took a picture, and then I left the room. I didn't...
So let's start back at the very beginning. So don't forget, with all interviews, we can't get an understanding of someone's baseline because we don't know which part of the interview this was filmed in. Interviews such like this are cleverly edited. She might have been sat there for 45 minutes, but we're only seeing 5-minute segments, so we can't get an understanding of what she does normally. However, what we look out for is characteristics of certain expressions and certain emotions. So the first thing I noticed here is the pacifying gesture she's making toward the rear of the neck here.
There were pictures online.
So before the question started, she's already scratching that area there. So the question beforehand might have caused her to feel stress, or she might have had an itch. So let's just listen to the question again.
And it looked like there was cocaine in that picture. Was that cocaine in those photographs?
I literally was walking back to my room with a few of my friends after doing press for my movie, which I was in Cannes for in the first place, called Inferno. I was with some of the producers that I work with. They went back into my room, and the director as well. I stopped in some...
Okay, right here. The first thing I noticed there is the use of a language change. So that question needs either a yes or no answer, which we don't get. We get then a detailed explanation of the events leading up to walking into that room. So
back to my room with a few of my friends.
So that's the first thing I noticed there, is a few of my friends. So remember that. So she said she's walking there with a few of her friends.
After doing press for my movie, which I was in Cannes for in the first place, called Inferno. I was with some of the producers that I work with. They went...
Okay, now she switched from friends to some of the producers. Now then, trying to retell a tale, you might have said some of the producers first. You would not have referred to them as friends.
Back into my room, and the director as well.
And you certainly wouldn't refer to your director as a friend, really. If it's kind of a work environment, I'm not overly sure you'd refer to people higher up than you are as friends. So, bear that in mind.
I stopped in someone's room because someone came out of the room and said, "Could you just take a picture with me really quickly?"
Now, that looks good. Now, look at her limbic response there. The palms come open, just like that. Watch it again. Watch how the hand moves from the back of the neck.
I stopped in someone's room because someone came out of the room and said, "Could you just take a picture with me?"
Very good. And someone can take a picture with me and the hands flash open. That looks pretty good.
Really quickly. So I went into the room, took a picture, and then I left the room. I wasn't looking around the room.
Okay, now that's an example of a speech error there. Now she's just about to say, "I didn't see anything." Watch it again.
Quickly. So I went into the room, took a picture, and then I left the room. I wasn't...
Okay, so she wasn't looking, but she said, "I didn't see."
I wasn't looking around the room. I just thought I was taking a picture with a fan, and I recently heard about these photos.
Okay, and I just thought I was taking a picture with a fan. So that's an interesting statement to make.
I just thought I was taking a picture with a fan, and I recently heard about these.
So just thought might indicate that they were potentially doing something else. So bear that in mind. So I think there's an example of maybe concealed information here.
And no, so I wouldn't know what was in the room. It's none of my business what was in the room. I was taking a picture with a fan, which I think anyone would have done in that situation.
So that's an interesting. So let's replay that little statement back.
I work with. They went back into my room, and the director as well. I stopped in someone's room because someone came out of the room and said, "Could you just take a picture with me really quickly?" So I went into the room, took a picture, and then I left the room. I didn't... I wasn't
So I left the room straight away.
looking around the room. I just thought I was taking a picture with a fan, and
Okay, so I just thought I was taking a picture with a fan, and then she goes, I didn't see, but she stopped,
I
and then she
recently heard about these
moves.
photos, and no, so I wouldn't know what was.
So she's going now to I wouldn't know what was in the room, but before she said I didn't see, but didn't actually say it because she stopped herself. So we've got a contrast there in statement analysis. We've got a complete contrast. So that's an interesting starter.
In the room, it's none of my business who was in the room. I was taking a picture with a fan, which I think anyone would have done in that situation.
And we're seeing this particular expression here where the hand comes up and touches the face here. Now this is called a manipulator, and we do it when we feel stress. Now what she said there's certainly signs that potentially some of that happened. Now don't forget, when we try and falsify information, we'd rather conceal and falsify. So we'd rather just miss out the bits that's slightly incriminating and then go back to what actually happened. You see, it's called a text bridge, and I think maybe there are certain signs there that potentially what happened in that hotel room isn't exactly what Lindsay's saying there, but we don't know.
I think that was a setup.
Something you'd have to ask the people that took the photo.
Who do you think that would set you up?
I don't know, I would hope no one in my life, but I've had people do that in the past, so, which is really disconcerting, but I don't know, that's not something that I can actually answer.
So what we see there is an example of a micro expression, so a fleeting facial expression of potentially concealed emotion. Watch it again.
Would set you up.
So I'll just pause it a little bit too further forward. Watch it again.
I think that would set you up.
And we see that particular facial expression there. We see it just on one side, where the zygomatic major will pull the cheek corner up. Watch it again. And it was very, very slight. It was almost trace.
I think that would set you up.
And we can see the eyes widening as well. So one-sided facial expressions, there's only one of them, well, there's only one universal micro-expression which is responsible for asymmetrical movement, which is contempt.
I think that would set you up.
Watch how it's very apparent on one side. Now we flash contempt when we know something that somebody else doesn't know, potentially. So So again, so it might be a little indication of something called duping delight that Paul Ekman talks about, but we can see it just here.
I don't know one in my life, but I've had people do that in the past, so, which is really disconcerting, but I don't know.
So something internally is making Lindsay Lohan just flash an asymmetrical movement just there.
That's something that I can actually answer.
Are you still taking drugs?
No. No.
So another example of a micro-expression, but this one's a little bit more detectable than the previous one, because asymmetrical movements generally happen very fast. However, this expression here...
No. No. I don't know, that's something that I...
Watch her initial response.
Are you still taking drugs?
No.
No, and then we can clearly see now that the lips are going towards the ceiling in happiness. So the zygomatic muscles again are pulling the lips up toward the top of the cheek here. So why is she smiling after saying she's not done any drugs? Now then, before you start accusing her of lying, she might be proud of the fact that she's not done any drugs. However, her emotions might be leaking out that actually she is doing drugs and she's getting away with it, and that's why she's duping us.
No.
And what's interesting...
Are you still taking drugs?
No. No.
And I think what's happened there is, I think she knows full well she's just smiled, so she has to mirror back what she's just said. So she says no again, but she makes a more stoic facial expression here, you see. So watch that again. So watch how she accidentally smiles. So that's a leak. It's called a micro-expression. And then we can see straight away she wants to say no again, but doesn't make that particular facial expression.
Are you still taking drugs?
No. No.
And then we can see the eyes shift down. Interesting. So she is right-handed. So down and right is emotions if you study the NLP visually accessing clues information.
Scared you will go to prison?
I don't see what reason I would go to prison for. I've been more than in compliance with everything having to do with the court system. I've been up to par, and I would be done in 2 weeks and 3 days. 2 weeks and 4 to 5, actually 4 days, because I missed one class, which I had spoken to the people at Right On Programs about because my uncle passed away. And I stayed in New York, to be with my family. I didn't even go to the funeral because I came back and did another class. So I don't see why I would have to go.
Okay, for those who are interested, I've done a little bit of research on Lindsay Lohan, and the class she's talking about is an alcohol educational class she had to do in May last year, where she had to go and have weekly classes about alcohol dependency and things like that, and that's why she's got a bracelet on, which is a bracelet that monitors alcohol intake. So just bear that in mind. So that's what she says about class.
In prison, and the only person that's ever suggested anything like that is my father.
Is that why you stayed away in Cannes?
I was stuck in Cannes. I had my passport stolen, so I had no option but to stay there. I immediately was trying to get and find ways out, whether it was, talking to, I recently was in India, I talked to some people at the Indian embassy. I was trying to find any way to get back because I knew, that I have to deal with certain repercussions, and I was very scared. And I went and got my passport in Marseille as soon as I could, which was the next morning.
So what we're seeing there is an example of a statement analysis again. However, we're not seeing any expressions, neither on the face or leaking out through the body. So that might be potentially the truth, what she just said there.
Did your passport really go missing, or was it an excuse?
My passport didn't just go missing. My passport was stolen out of my room, which was very clear.
Okay, let's rewind that a bit. That's very significant.
My passport didn't just go missing. My passport was stolen out of my room, which was very clear. Amongst other things, certain piece of jewelry and items that were mine and in my possession, so I thought.
Okay, now listen to the language used there. You see, now listen to what she says.
My passport didn't just go missing. My passport was stolen out of my
out of your room.
Which was very clear. Amongst other things, certain piece of jewelry and.
A certain piece of jewelry. Okay, so she doesn't actually say a.
Very clear. Amongst other things, certain piece of jewelry.
So there's no a there. She just says certain piece of jewelry. That's interesting. So there's no a there. So she's not putting her ownership on it, saying it belonged to her. She just says certain piece of jewelry.
Jewelry and items that were mine and in my possession.
So items that were hers and in her possession, but she's not being very specific in outlining what they actually were. So we're seeing an example there of more statement analysis.
Very clear. Amongst other things, certain piece of jewelry and items that were mine and in my possession. So I thought.
What makes you believe?
Now then, listen to that bit again.
A certain piece of jewelry and items that were mine and in my possession. So I thought.
So I thought, and then just stops talking altogether. So we're seeing an example there of a sentence not being finished. And we can also see the hand now as placed back round to the corner of the cheek, so on her right hand side here. So now it looks like she's just propping her head up. What's also interesting is her blinking rate has dramatically increased.
Had anything to do with your passport going missing?
I don't have any connection with my father. He has a very, his past is, he's a very erratic person, and he's a convicted felon, so I try to stay far away from him as I can. And I don't have a relationship with him, so it's just not something that I even feel to be brought up anymore.
And we can see how she's really meaning what she's saying is by the furrowing of the eyebrows.
And it's just, enough is enough already.
Why do you think it would be more important to party in Cannes than go to your hearing?
I wasn't partying in Cannes. I was there for work. And more than 10 people can attest to that. I was there promoting the film. I've been focusing on my work and getting my classes done, therefore, just to be able to start a film again so I can have this all put behind me. And that's been my goal for a very long time now. I got into this because I enjoy acting, not because I enjoy going to court and having to deal with certain things like this.
Okay, right. That little bit looks quite good. Apologise for what happened with the camera there. Obviously, the white balance quite fair. She now looks like Wednesday Addams. But don't worry about that.
Don't you think you should take responsibility for your own actions?
I always have taken responsibility for my own actions. Always.
Are you prepared to go into rehab?
So the initial reaction there is furrowing of the brows, eyebrows down and together.
I don't see why I would even have to do that, considering I've been in compliance with everything that occurs when you're in a court system for 2 DUIs. You go through the process of going to your classes, and there's many other things that go with that. And I don't see why that would even be a question. The only person that suggested such things is my father, who clearly isn't sane.
Okay, so that's a very bold statement. He's labelling somebody insane. Watch that bit again.
Such things as my father, who clearly isn't sane.
And we can see that with the eyebrows down and being pulled together slightly as well. We can also see the crinkling of the forehead here as well to emphasise the fact.
And I don't think it's fair that people go based on someone that's not even a part of my life.
Do you have any financial problems?
Not that I'm aware of, but you can ask my business manager.
Okay. Not that I'm aware of is not answering the question yes or no. So that's really yes or no answer. It's been well documented at the moment that Lindsay Lohan did suffer financial difficulties late last year.
You're getting ready for court tomorrow morning, and unfortunately you had to miss a very big day, which was your brother's graduation. How do you feel?
Upset. Sucks.
Now then, note the change there. Now then, the first thing I notice here is what does she whisper under her breath? Now then, I do a little bit of lip reading, and what I can see there is, oh my god, I'm sorry. Now let's see if you see that.
Graduation. How do you feel?
Upset. Sucks.
So it might be that she's forgotten about it, and that's where the tears come from, and that's why she can't no longer string a sentence together and just saying sucks.
And your relationship
So
with
I think
your
she's struggling there, and then she makes that particular facial expression there is when we're trying to think about something that we should have done in the first place. She's like, oh bloody hell, I can't believe I forgot.
It's great. And my brother as well. So
Now did she say sorry there?
it's great. And my brother as well. So I'm proud of him. I wish I could be there.
So sorry, I'm proud of him. So wonder why she's saying sorry, because of the reason why she's not there, or potentially she's forgotten. We don't know, and we can see that particular facial expression there. Again, we see the one-sided facial expression, and we can see the eyes darting away to break eye contact. And that's the end of the video. So there we go. So that's Lindsay Lohan covered here on Understanding Body Language.
Are you still taking drugs?
No.
Okay, now don't forget what we said about this facial expression here. We see a smile coming through. Now don't forget, a lot of people try and conceal their emotions with a smile. However, it's very interesting to note she made that particular facial expression. Now, this interview was taken last year in May. So I've done a little bit of further research on Lindsay since May last year. And the Daily Mail newspaper here in Great Britain caught Lindsay Lohan injecting heroin the story was reported on the 27th of September 2010, so it's only a few months after that particular video was published. So whether she's flashing here, let's just scoot back to the video, that she's secretly letting on the fact that she is still taking drugs, but doesn't want to reveal it. Don't forget, the smile comes in, which is interesting to note. Again, Lindsay Lohan in February this year was convicted of stealing a piece of jewellery and then sentenced to more time in prison, which was a great shame for her. Well, there you go. But anyway, I hope Lindsay Lohan gets herself back on track. I can't believe she's only 25. I really hope she can, get back to having a good, solid career, and she can leave all this unpleasantness in the past, and she goes on to have a great career. And hopefully, I will meet her one day. I think she's a good actor. I think she definitely has had a troubled past, but I think she can let go, move on, and hopefully learn from it and become better. So, Lindsay, I'm rooting for you, and I hope things get better for you. So there you go. So with that in mind, if you'd like to learn more about body language, please check out my Understanding Body Language Liars, Cheats and Happy Feet page on Facebook. Just type that in there. I do quite a little other bits and bobs about flirting and dating and things like that. And please check out my other videos on YouTube as well. I've got around about 65 body language videos now. So if you're interested in learning about more about different sides of body language, about concealed emotion, happiness, sadness, lying and deception, please check out my other videos that cover a wide range of kinetic movement. I'm also on Twitter as well, at Body Language UK. So if you've got any questions or queries, please leave them on my body language page or here on YouTube, and try and circulate these videos as much as you can. So from everyone here at Understanding Body Language Liars, Cheats and Happy Feet, take care and bye-bye for now.